All right, welcome back, Hononegah Algebra 1. And so we're going to warm up today with what we did yesterday, and we did mean, median, and mode in section 11.1. So we're going to start off section 11.2 by just calculating the median here. And so the median is the number in the middle, and it's already done for me. In fact, that they're in order, 3, 5, 9, 10 to 15. So now there's 5 numbers. So the number in the middle, okay, because it's an odd amount of numbers, the number in the middle is 9. So the median for this particular data set, or the number in the middle, is 9. Now, what happens if there's an even amount of numbers? And these are not written in order, so I need to go back through this. -1, 1, 3, 4, 2 5s, and 2 6s. So now there's 8 values. So again, the number in the middle now is going to be in between. So we're talking about the 2 numbers in the middle, 4 to the left and 4 to the right. And then I want the average, or the number in between those 2 numbers. So the median, or the number in the middle of this data set, is 4.5. It's the halfway point between 4 and 5. So that's a little bit of review from section 11.1. Now we're going to talk about what's known as box and whisker plots. Box and whisker plots is sometimes also referred to as a 5-number summary. 5-number summary, because what you're going to do is you're going to take the smallest value in the data set, the largest value in the data set, and then you're going to break it up into what's known as quartiles. So this would be the median of the entire data set. And then quartile 1 is the median of the lower half of the data set. And quartile 3 is the median of the upper half of the data set. And so what ends up happening is you get a summary of where the data actually falls. And so the longer the whisker, the more that is an outlier of the data set. Okay, and so the smaller the box, the more numbers there are actually in that particular area. So the larger the box, the more spread out the data is. So here we go. Make a box and whisker plot that represents the ages. Now they weren't very nice to me, and these are not in order. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in order. So 18 is the smallest number in the data set. The next smallest number is 22, and I'm going to cross these off as I go. There's another 22, so I don't miss any. There's a 24, 25, and there's actually 2 of those. There's 3 of those, sorry. A 27, a 28, a 30, and another 30. So I believe I have all of them. So now, find the median of the entire data set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 numbers here. So the median of the 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th number, okay, and for some reason my pen isn't working here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the median of the data set. And now I want to find the median of the lower half. So the median of the lower half, that's quartile 1. And the median of the upper half, that's quartile 3. So now here's what the box and whisker plot's going to look like. I'm just going to draw, okay, a big whisker. And I'm going to make a number line underneath, okay? So I'm just going to label it, so I apologize for this. But here's 18, the smallest number in the data set, and here's 30. So again, if I started marking this off, okay, the highest number to the lowest number, then the number in the middle, okay, so 25 is the number in the middle. So again, that's about 5 from 1 and 1. So I'm going to put 25 about here for right now. So there's the number in the middle. The lower half, 22. So I'm going to go 3 to the left. 18, 19, 20. So about here would be about where 22 would be located. Here would be about where 28 would be located. So this is where the box would occur. And again, I did not do a very good job here, and I'm sure the other teachers who are looking at this video are going to cringe a little bit. But ultimately, I'm just labeling the box and whisker. What ultimately should happen, and I really don't have enough room, is there really should be a number line underneath here. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And so therefore, then you have a better estimation as what's going on. So I'm going to do a better job on my next one without starting this video over. So here we go. The basketball player scores 14, 16, 25, 22, 30, 16, and 28 points. Make a box and whisker plot that represents the data. So again, you have to put the numbers in order. So 5 is the smallest number, 14, 16, another 16, 20, 22, 28, and 30. So now I'm going to draw in a number line. My lowest number is going to end up being 5. My highest number is going to end up being 30. And I'm going to go by 5s here. So here's 10, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I went by 5s on my number line. And I am having troubles here. 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, so there's my number line. So I know the smallest number is at 5 and the largest number is at 30. There's the line going straight through the data. Okay, find the median. There's 8 numbers, so I want the number in the middle, so in between those two. So the median for this particular data set is 18. So I'm going to put a dot here at 18. So here's 5, here's 30. Next, I want the median of just the lower half. So the median of the lower half is at 15. So again, I'm going to put a dot. Okay. I'm going to find the first quartile. Okay, is 15. The top half, I want the median of the top half. So again, the number in the middle of the top half between 22 and 28 is 25. And so there's my, and I'm just going to explain all this one more time. The smallest number is 5. The largest number is 30. The first quartile is 15. The second quartile is 18, or the median of the whole data set. And then the third quartile is 25. So again, we are getting what's called a 5-number summary of the data set from smallest to largest and then breaking it down into quartiles. The box and whisker plot represents the lengths in seconds of songs played at the rock band concert. Find and interpret the range of the data set. So the highest number in this data set is 300 and the smallest number is 160. So the range, going back to section 11.1, the range for this particular data set from highest to lowest is 140. Describe the distribution, and this really is on the next page, so I'm surprised that this one is here, but basically what you're looking at when you're describing the distribution is whether or not the data is skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric, and again, that's on the next slide. So the longer the whisker, or the larger the box, the more spread out the data is. And so this one, even though again, we haven't talked about it yet. It's on the next slide. This one is skewed left, okay, because the data is more together on the right-hand side and it's further apart on the left-hand side. Find and interpret the interquartile range of the data. So basically what you're looking at is the quartiles. So the interquartile range, so each of the quartile ranges, so from 160 to 220 has a range of 60, and the second quartile from 220 to 260 has a range of 40, and from 280 to 260 has a range of 20, and from 300 to 280 also has a range of 20. So now, are the data more spread out below quartile 1 or above quartile 3? And again, looking at the whisker, it is much more spread out below quartile 1 than it is when it's above quartile 3. So what does that mean? That means, as I said just a little bit ago, that this data is skewed left. If the whisker is longer, if the left whisker is longer than the right whisker, it is considered skewed left. So the data is closer together on the right and skewed to the left. If the data basically looks even, So all the quartiles and the whiskers look about the same. You would consider it symmetric. And again, this is a situation where the whisker on the right is much longer than the whisker on the left. So we would consider this skewed right, or the data is closer on the left and skewed to the right. So now, this is what's called a double box and whisker plot. So now you're making a comparison between two classes. So identify the shape of the distribution. Let's talk about your friends class. Your friends class is very even throughout. The highest number to the lowest number and the median, everything looks about the same. So I would consider the friends class to be symmetric. However, your class is not that way. Look at the long whisker on the left and the small whisker on the right. And so that long whisker on the left-hand side means that your class is skewed left. And I probably should have used a different color there, but your class is skewed left. Which test scores are more spread out? Again, when you're talking about spread out, okay, you're talking about looking at the number. Notice that both classes had somebody get 100. But the friends class went all the way down to 60. And so their numbers are much more spread out throughout the entire class, where your class, even though you had the 100 and the 95 and the 90 and the 85, but then there was a large, or your numbers are much closer together, or your ranges are closer. So I would say the friends class is more spread out throughout the entire class. The double box and whisker plot represents the surfboard prices for shop A and shop B. Identify the shape of each distribution. Which of the shop's prices are more spread out? So again, which one has the larger range? Shop A. Okay. So even though shop B has a higher shop A has a much higher number compared to its much lower number. So the range of values in shop A go from 900 all the way down to 300. So again, that one then has a more data that is much more spread out. Now, identify the shape. There it is. I was going to say, I thought it was in there. So now, what would you say about both shop A and shop B? The longer whisker is on the right-hand side. So I would say this one is definitely skewed to the right. Now, the second one is pretty close, okay? But I would definitely say the longer whisker is to the right again. And so again, I would say that both of these would be skewed right. What are the 5 key values of the graph in the box and whisker plot? The highest, the lowest, the median, then the median of the lower half, which is quartile 1, the median of the upper half, which is quartile 3. And how does an outlier affect the plot? It definitely skews the data, or makes the whisker much longer, so skewed right and skewed left, when there's definitely an outlier. Good luck on your worksheet. If you have any questions, make sure you talk to your teacher.